I am here with Paul Vysnia. Paul, if you could introduce yourself and the company you represent.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Vysnia. Came from Lithuania 25 years ago, uh, looking for better opportunities. Now I own a company called VGT, which translates to Vysnia Global Transport. Been running that company for 7 years. We have a safety and family-oriented company, and having a blast.
Love hearing that. Now, you started the company 7 years ago. What got you into that industry and specifically to running your own business? Happened 7 years ago that led you to this decision?
So it's a long story, but I'll try to be short. Came to United States, worked as a construction person, went to O'Hare Airport, was an office clerk there while studying for my CDL. Most of my friends when I came to United States were the truck drivers. So it was a good choice, I think, then to be a truck driver because they made the most money. And being a young family, we needed money. So got into business like that, was a driver for 7 years. And purchased my first truck when my first son was born. I'm sorry, when my youngest son was born. And ran as a own operator for a few years, worked my way into an office of the company that I was working for at the time. And slowly, surely build up my team to like 3, 4 trucks, went to work in the office, became a dispatcher there. A few short years after, became a transportation manager. Then a few short years after, became a terminal manager for the company. And at the time, I think it was like 5 or 6 years later, I already had like 15 trucks working in the same company and was running their Chicagoland division. So then that company got bought out by somebody else. And it took them about a year to figure out that I run their division and I have 15 or 20 trucks in that company. So they gave me an option of like, hey, buddy, you want to be a terminal manager or you want to have your own transportation company and support our business? So it took me probably less than a minute to tell them the answer that hey, I want to open up my company. And 2018 in March, we opened up a VGT and here we are, man.
Path. And before we talk about the beginnings of the running the company, I wanted to ask you, you had your firstborn or the younger, actually the youngest son, so second. How did you handle being a driver and family? I'm just really curious about that because
It's a gap in my memory, my friend, if I'm honest. It's like not being home. I do not remember that very clearly, but I know one thing is that my wife is a very, very strong woman. So she handled the most of what kids needed at the time. Activities, school, everything else, because I was on the road all the time. And I only used to come back to the house for Saturday and Sundays. Mostly only for Saturdays. I was leaving Sunday evenings already. So my wife handled everything. Work ethic, man. I think work ethic was installed into all of us in Eastern Europe from a very young age. My father, my mom used to make us work for summers. So I think comes from that. But it's a gap. I can't say like think about it now, and I don't remember, to be honest. So it was a lot of hard work. We used to drive for like 20 hours, 22 hours a day. It was completely different times. But family, my wife handled it the most of the things, so it kind of made it easier for me just to work and make money.
what a blessing, definitely. And I agree with everything you mentioned about Eastern Europeans. I don't remember having off for vacations and, and weekends. As it was for me, it was usually weekends where I work after school back in Europe, and it was after school or and on the weekends. So it was always like that. But it's definitely big commitment, sacrifice, and I'm glad it worked out. It's gonna be appreciate that sacrifice you've made. Now,
Yes,
since
sir.
when you started your own company, obviously you had a ton of experience, which definitely helped. Can you imagine? Was there anything that surprised you about running your own business versus being part of a company where you still have, someone else doing a lot of other things, and you now have to take care of everything from A to Z? How was that experience in the beginning?
I don't know if I can call it a surprise, but I didn't realize how much work it takes for the work to flow seamlessly. From dispatch to accounting to safety. All of those dots connected. When I was terminal manager, I didn't realize it because all of those were already installed in place, and I just made sure that people were doing the jobs. In the new company, when you open up, you have to create all those steps. You have to create all the procedures and everything else. So the surprise was like that I have to do it all, and how much work and effort it takes to create it all from zero, and how many times you change it until it's perfect. So appreciation for the good team members came very early. And dependent people, loyal people, and yeah, the hard work, man, and just a surprise in that, like how much work it comes in the back offices.
How did you manage to find those people that were good team members and loyal? Did you have any experience with that previously, or just were lucky?
A little bit of luck.
The
A
fact.
lot of them came in from my previous stops. Few friends. My son works here in a company too, but a lot of people that used to work with me in the previous company when I was working in the dispatch, transportation manager, terminal manager, all in the same company. I think that we have like 50% of those people working right now or work in this company. Friends and my wife recommended few people. It took a couple of years to build a really good team, and I'm blessed. A couple of my friends, very good one, works in here still. So I'm blessed with that, my friend.
Another big blessing of yours. Now let's flip it around. We talk about some challenges in the beginning. What was exciting the most for you? What was the most fun for you? Building those SOPs? Was there anything else that stood out for you in the beginning? Like, hey, I actually like this part of it, of running a business, my own business.
I think the challenge of it all, from creating SOPs to all the challenges, all the adversities, hiring people, firing people, building the team, growing the company, all of that was exciting in the beginning. And then post COVID for the last 3 years is not much fun anymore. But in the beginning, it was all of those: building the company, growing it, making a little bit of money, making friendships, sustaining, seeing customers all the time. All of that combined was driving me.
Who do you primarily serve right now at that?
Do serve customers. Customers in the mean, like from previous destinations that became my personal friends, and after that right now in the customers in the company, freight forwarders, and a lot of brokers. So those three would be probably the main.
Are you doing any sort of networking to work to get in front of some decision makers at the companies that need your services? 'Cause I know you do quite a lot of different transportation types. So what do you
Yes.
do to get in front of the right people?
When my son came into the company, I did not need to do a lot of networking before, but recently when all the customers started going into spot markets because of a cheaper freight, my son came in the company and he was like, "Dad, you never go out and see people and like us, not like customers, but you don't go to trade shows like logistics leaders conferences." So we started doing that. It changed a little bit. We have even more new connections coming in, so we do networking a little bit more lately than usually. Yeah.
And what do you guys do differently that sets you apart from competitors and other companies with similar?
I think the only thing that comes to mind, because I don't think that we do anything different, that we have few divisions. To my knowledge, most of the companies have like one division only. We have dry van division and we have intermodal division. So that diversification, I think that's how we're different. As far as different things, we have hazmat certification, we have tanker certification, we can move freight in bond, which is not customs cleared. I think that's pretty much it, man. All of us truckers are the same thing. If you offer a few more steps, which I think we do, that's the only difference.
I read somewhere that you logged in 312,000 safety miles in 2024, and is that
That is
true?
a that is a safety question. I don't know the answers to that. My safety team does all of that. But I think it's more, way much more than that. But yeah, if you read it somewhere, it must be true, my friend.
Better is obviously more is obviously better. Let's say this.
Yeah, I think it's way much more, my friend.
Love it. Yeah, I when I was driving around Europe, I did myself maybe, I don't know, 200,000 kilometers, not miles. So what is like 120, 130, 125,000 miles. But we were in the moving space as well. So not only transportation, but also some moving. So I had to use my muscles to load and deload the trucks. So that was different a little bit. But yeah, I know those miles add up. How important is, and what do you do for it? How important is communication? I had a conversation about that with one of the previous guests, and he said that when he started, a company, the drivers had to stop, find a box with a telephone, and call a toll-free number to get a hold of someone at the office. And that was the communication back then, different, and it's changed a lot. So I would be curious, how do you communicate amongst the team and at the office? Obviously, communication with those who are driving, and also out there, and also your clients and customers.
Yeah, communication is way different from even from when I was working. We used to work with the flip phones. There was no internet, no nothing. We used to drive with a map in our hands in order to get to the customers. So obviously these days drivers has is way better. Our communication, most of it's done through our system, but direct messaging we do through Google Voice. It's super fast, super easy. All office logs in into Google Voice messages and communications flows through that. So we love that. Yes, safety, accounting, everybody, driver has a question, he asks, and everybody can like see it in the moment's notice. So we love that. But most of dispatching and everything else goes through our team.
Is there any element of artificial intelligence that is implemented into your company and the communication aspect as well?
Not yet. The only AI that we use is in the TMS in our transportation module system is to enter loads, send invoices only from that aspect. I personally don't know. I talked to quite a few trucking company owners. I don't think that any one of us smaller guys implement any AI into the systems yet. I don't know about bigger guys, but yeah, I don't think that we do that. I don't know anybody that does that. Brokers do. We have a lot of chats with brokers, AI. Very recently they started calling us, so the brokers are way much more advanced than carriers at this time.
What I'm hearing more and more in that particular space is essentially for brokerage and sales, where you get AI to filter the calls coming in and being able to analyze the information that is being absorbed, the destinations and what type of freight we're talking about, and giving quotes before, or sending it to the human being that can analyze it quickly and essentially just summarize data and then give some quotes. But yeah, I mean, some companies were even talking about implementing AI for sales, like for calls, like you have that.
You would be surprised, my friend. Like I very recently stopped what I'm doing here just to listen to a few conversations what people have in office, and I go like, "Hey, is this AI?" They go like, "Yes, Paul, it's AI." It's very astonishing of how real they sound. And before, you used to call them and AI would answer. They would take your load number, give you the rate, do a little bit of a negotiation, and if the range is not there, they would send you to human. Now AI is calling us on a posted loads too. So they complete, like they changing and they growing in that aspect, where we as a carriers, I think we're lagging in that department.
I mean, it's every single day you have some new updates coming in, and
Yep.
it's crazy
Yes.
impossible to keep up with that. You have AI, robotics,
Yes, sir.
and then all other parts like virtual reality and what have you, that is going crazy and crazier. What's
Yes,
your
sir.
take on electrification of things, like electric vehicles for in your industry?
I'm afraid to even I'm afraid to even think about it, honestly. I don't think that we have enough power. Not that I know we have a lot of knowledge about that, but from what I'm hearing is we do not have enough power to support it yet. And it is going to be difficult. Range is going to be difficult. Charging stations is going to be difficult. I'm talking to our fuel provider. I go like, and they are one of the biggest truck stop chains. I go like, are you guys preparing for that? And they go like, no, we don't. We have only like few car charging stations built by somebody else in them, but they are not preparing for them yet. So it's interesting, and only like one or two carriers that I know of have few local trucks. So, but it's definitely coming because cars came, so trucks will come too. But I haven't had a actual like time to think about it. Nor do I want to yet, because I'm even afraid to see the sticker price on the trucks. It's gonna be interesting to see. Yes.
It's definitely going to be, but it's so you say that the vision of having a driverless electric vehicle truck, essentially electric powered truck, driving to one destination, charging during the loading or deloading phase, is still far away from from more recent?
Well, so let's just say this. I don't think it's far away. I think it's coming, but I'm not there yet to think about it because we have challenges that concerns us today, and I'm like fighting those challenges. After we're done with them, we can, when we pass this recession, trucking recession, which we have for like 3.5 years right now. After that, let's hope we all gonna be still here, and then I'm gonna start looking into, okay, how can we do better, less emissions, and electrification.
So the innovations later, we have the first rule of growing a business to stay in the business. So
Absolutely, yes, sir.
speaking of that little challenge you've mentioned, the 3.5 year recession, what are the challenges right now and how are you approaching it from your standpoint?
Cutting costs everywhere we can, making drivers do things of what they're not comfortable doing or what we never asked them to do before, looking for cheaper fuel, not taking tolls where they need to go, cuts, we have to do office cuts. Unfortunately, just basically like tightening everything up, my friend. It's tough, but that's what it calls for at the moment. And the business is not there. Insurance is going up, truck prices is going up, truck parts is going up. So we just have to stay in business, and then we have to make tough decisions and basically tighten everything up, man.
What do you think, or what in your opinion has to change or needs to happen in the industry to get back to get back, maybe continue to thrive and grow? Maybe that's better word than thrive, to just grow.
Honestly, I don't know. For the first time in my life, I don't know. Before we were able to predict the cycles, when the highs, when the lows are going to happen. I don't think that we can do that anymore because there is no norm, so to speak, in this business or even in real estate business. I have a few friends that way older than I am, and they telling me like, Paul, if anybody's in the world telling you that they know what's going on in this business or on the other, they are full of you know what. And I kind of have to agree with it because I don't know what needs to happen. For government to step in with a little bit more regulations, broker transparency, carriers be a little bit more united, or maybe all of those things combined. But yeah, it's not fun at the moment, but and then something has to change because it is really tough in this business right now.
During moments like this, you have people at the office, you have people that rely on your families. How do you communicate? Communicate, maybe that's one word, but how do you keep the team's morale high and motivated for during challenging times like that?
Just communicating, my friend. Like talking to them constantly, letting them know that, hey, we will do the best that we can to stay in business. That we're not gonna cut people that are doing great job, that are here every single day, that's doing the best for us to stay in business too. Communication. I build a gym for people in the back because we have a little bit of warehouse. So we go and then have a little bit of workouts, kind of team building activity. We have few ping pong tables, so we do have ping pong tournaments, so to speak, in here. So just having that bond, let's say, you know what I mean, like throughout activities, helps to keep morale up and just being honest with people.
Honesty.
That's pretty much it, I think.
Who would have thought that honesty will be so important? Skill that not many master.
That's not around a lot anymore. Honesty. That is not a lot.
So that's for the team. And anything for you, like any principles, habits, routines that you stick to during those challenging times to stay sane and maybe at this point not motivating the team but self-motivated and somehow seeing the positive in those times?
Everything I think is a challenge. So I'm very good from a young age to accepting challenges. I'm a very competitive individual, not very super competitive individual. Family support is super important, and I have abundance of that. As far as the routines goes, I have two beautiful dogs that I go for a walk every single day for about an hour a day. So that kind of helps me to start the day. I joined bicycle team, so that's another routine that takes off my mind, and exercising helps me kind of stay calm and collective. I think learning from other mistakes, from other people's mistakes. I have few friends that way older than I am, and they constantly talk to me about business, about life, about family. So just to stay even keel, never too high, never too low. That's pretty much it, I think.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's definitely good to keep a balance of it all and remember, there's one phrase you can say that sticks with me, and I don't know why I came up with it right now, but it may be maybe because of the last questions, but Amor fati.
Uh-huh.
remember that we're all gonna die at one point. So it doesn't do you any favor, any good if you bring yourself down and kill yourself over any results at some
Yes, sir.
good times. And there's good times and there's bad times, and we have to be good with both and accept them.
Yeah.
And love your fate. So, what advice would you give to your younger self if starting a company, and maybe I know your son works there, so you can tell him don't get into this industry. What other advice would you tell him?
I think it's too late for that one. He's here right now, right? Like, so it's too late. But the advice that I would give to all the young entrepreneurs is don't be too good to people that do not deserve that. I gave way too many chances to the people that did not deserve it. And one of my best friends, like I said, works right across the wall here. He's constantly telling me, Paul, just stop being this good. People do not deserve it. Hey, he doesn't need to be here. And I constantly catch myself giving people second and third opportunities. And then I pay for them. Would it be emotionally, financially, it doesn't matter. But a lot of people do not deserve second chances. So if I would do it again, I cannot change for who I am, but I would not give way too many chances to people that do not deserve it.
Big one. That's a message for. That's a highlight of this wonderful conversation we're having here. I love it. And yeah, with that, I wanted to say thank you so much for your time on this lovely Monday afternoon, actually for you. Still morning for me here in
Oh,
California.
I'm jealous for that, yes.
And looking forward to seeing your companies grow regardless of the state of the industry. I know that after every winter there's some spring, some summer that will come and hopefully last longer than those winters. I look forward to
Yes, sir.
seeing that, and maybe at one point interviewing your son as the president of the company, or CEO, maybe not a president, let's say CEO.
I hope so, my friend. I appreciate you having me on, man.
I can only imagine what a feeling that would be for you and for him
Oof.
to do
Yes.
that at one
Yes.
point. So that's the North Star. Let's keep it at a positive. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to connecting in the near future.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me.